got to get into our Detroit Lions.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Detroit Lions, man. Unfortunately, we took a loss on Sunday night at Arrowhead against the Kansas City Chiefs, 30-17. 2-score loss. I was nervous about that game. Kansas City got a lot of team speed in their wide receiving core, and we were banged up in the secondary. That did illustrate itself. Patrick Mahomes, 257 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing. A lot of wide open receivers in that secondary. A lot of issues with the game itself. A dust up after the game between Brian Branch and Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yeah.
Without further ado, man, some issues with the officiating. But I'll take your thoughts. I'm sure that they're extensive where this is concerned. I'll take your thoughts, man, and then I'll give you mine.
Well, I guess I had that one wrong. Shit. I mean, goodness, man. Oh, God, where do I start? Let's start with, I think everything was looking good until the 4th down on the first drive.
Yeah.
I mean, I think from there, that kind of just set the table for, what was going to be in store for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Which included a run defense that got carved up.
Yeah. I mean,
a pass defense that was fairly pretty much non-existent for the most part.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes for, everything that the Chiefs have been this year. You look up the last 4 games, 11 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Yeah.
This is right at about 70% completion percentage, somewhere around there, 68, 69 somewhere. So it's like
you mean he's still Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, it's like now, because see what a big win does, it now kind of
it focuses.
Settles. It settles,
That's
everything. Right. So it was tough for a lot of reasons. I think I don't want to jump off a cliff and say, "Oh, the Lions got exposed." I think they ran into a team that had a lot to play for.
Of course, yeah, they were desperate. We said that beforehand.
Yeah, they were they were highly motivated, but it was one of those games where you saw it, like every first down, it was some extra.
Yeah,
everything, it was extra. The energy was there, and I'm not mad at it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not bitching about it.
It's highly competitive,
right?
Yeah.
So you could tell that Kansas City were more than up for the game.
Absolutely.
And not to say that the Lions weren't, but I think for the first time since we've been on our streak, we got hit in the mouth and we didn't get up.
Yeah.
That's,
I think that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Like the Green Bay game, I thought that the last 3 weeks kind of reassured me that was okay. Maybe that was just us getting our first real NFL activity for the year against a team that was riding the wave of getting a major trade.
Yeah.
Week 1.
They were highly emotional. Yeah.
So the prior 3 weeks, I think, kind of was able to quelch that a little bit, to me at least.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that.
And then you get to Sunday night, and it was, a gut punch and a chin check.
Yeah.
And, the Lions got to hold it. As for the fallout with the Brian Branch situation.
Yeah.
That's tough. Brian Branch, he has to be better.
Yeah.
I get that, you got blocked in the back and, the ref might have missed it.
It was a cheap shot.
Yeah, I get it. But guess what? You're a star in this league.
Yep.
It's going to happen.
Yep.
So, you got to get used to that. Let's get it a little tougher mentally, and I expect he will.
I agree.
But it's going to hurt us.
Yeah.
Like right now, coming into Monday night with the matchup we got coming up, Baker Mayfield is like in the front running seat for MVP to me.
Correct.
If you want to go him, Jonathan Taylor, 1-2.
Bijan Robinson, maybe throw him in the mix.
You want to throw them in the mix? Yep. I mean, but if we're talking quarterback play, that's relevant to where we're the most deficient.
Yep.
You could ill afford to miss Monday night's game.
Correct.
So that hurts. Kirby's, is getting more banged up by the down.
Yep.
So that's concerning. Yeah, man. Do I think it's, disaster? No. Again, I think it was a lot of plays here and there. I think if we converted, that game goes another way. Like to me, what sticks out to me is of course, the fourth down where the Lions scored a touchdown. Did they kick the extra point? Or were they in formation to kick the extra point?
No, they did not kick the extra point. They were in formation.
They were in formation, and then the flag was thrown.
Correct.
But again, that's neither here nor there. I mean, I'm not here to argue the call. But again, I go back to that play. Whether you want to go to a more a play that's more simplistic, if that's want to be your argument, whatever, because we know we were going for it,
I mean,
but it's that play and then the drop by Saint, which
his first drop in 2 years.
I mean, it's a one-off, but I think those two plays, especially at the point of which it happened in the game, affected the rest of the game. I think, heavily. I think it dictated a lot of the gameplay around those two plays.
Absolutely.
And I don't think we were ever able to, recover from that outside of, Patrick Mahomes being Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Trucking our safeties. I peeped that, by the way. And, but I think we'll be okay. I'm sure we'll touch on it. It's now, murky at the top of the NFC North now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
With that loss,
it's tight,
and with Chicago showing up. So that was my main thoughts. The Branch thing is the takeaway. I think hurts us the most because it's a lingering effect.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I agree with a lot of what you said. I mean, on 4th and 1, I mean, I appreciate the creativity by John Morton. But when you've had a team on the field for over 10 clock minutes, on 4th and 1, just run the ball up the middle, just power football. We were bullying them down the field. There's no reason to get cute.
Dog walking them.
Yeah, we were bullying them down. There was no reason to get cute right there. So yes, I'm with you. I appreciate that you want to try to be creative and catch them off guard. It was just no reason to get cute. On another note, you can't throw a flag for illegal motion after the play is over, though.
Yeah, dude, you can't.
So to your point, I know you kind of touched on it and kind of breezed through it, but I will go ahead and say the quiet part loud. That you really can't do that,
right?
And you can Google that. You can go to the grocery store and argue with the produce section. You can't do that. You just Google, can the referee throw a flag for illegal motion after the play is over? The AI will tell you no, that in the NFL that is not permitted. You have to throw that play while the play is happening. But I mean, either way, I think that it's important to know the rule.
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
Run that out of pistol formation and it's a touchdown.
Thank you for breaking that rule down, by the way, because I was really trying to, because these people, I'm trying not to blame it on the refs.
Just to be fair, that call came in from New York.
I thought New York denied it.
You can't review that. It's
I
not
thought New York. I thought New York denied it. I thought New York said that they had nothing to do with
penalties. Are not reviewable.
That they didn't call it.
I don't think. From what I said, and I can double check. It wasn't that it was reviewed. It was that New York called in and said it was illegal motion.
But that's even worse because that's not something that can be reviewed from New York. You can't review penalties. Penalties have to be called on the field. Even if New York can't call and say that was an illegal motion. That's just like New York calling and saying, 74 false started.
Right.
Like that's not something that
even with it being a scoring play, it wasn't about the possession of the scoring play.
Yeah. Like the only thing that they can review is whether or not the guy actually scored or not.
It's like the Draymond, Rochambeau, LeBron, where they suspended them on a Sunday, but they didn't call anything during the game.
Correct. Yeah. Like, that's not, you can't review a penalty. It's not something that's reviewable. But again, I mean,
and then the
from this morning and on his weekly call on 97.1, Dan Campbell said that it was confirmed that the call was from New York.
Oh wow, okay,
yeah,
well, there it is then.
But New York can't call in penalties. So
well, now that just really sucks.
I wish somebody would have.
I wish they'd have lied. Now,
yeah, I wish somebody would have clarified that though.
Oh, that sucks.
When has New York ever called in a penalty? When has New York ever called in a penalty? That's absurd.
Awful, man.
Yeah, that's absurd.
So now I'm really pissed off all over again for that play. And then you take that and then you couple that with the fact that we got Calvin ruled in the same game later on with Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Where, we got hosed on the rule that was basically changed because of us. I was like, man, this is awful.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Yeah, but anyway.
This is why I wanted to stay away from the Zebras, dog, because they suck.
Yeah, I mean, no, I am going to touch on the officiating. While the Lions, I'll preface my comments. So
they did their part in the loss too.
Yeah, first of all, let me touch on the Brian Branch situation. Mm-hmm. Because while, again, it's been said 1,000,000 times, I'll make it 1,000,001. Brian Branch can't do that.
Right.
He's not going to have a career if he handles himself in that way. And I think he understands that. You can't go after guys, can't be punching people after the game is over. If you wanted to exact some justice, you got to do it between the whistles. I'm fine if Brian Branch on the very next play makes a beeline for Juju Smith-Schuster and launches himself at Juju and puts him in concussion protocol until 2026. I'm good with that. Make it between the whistles. You can't do that after the game is over.
Right.
However, I do want to emphasize the fact that he was responding to a cheap shot.
Yeah. What
Juju Smith-Schuster did, it was illegal. It was a block in the back. It was definitely unnecessary roughness. It was at minimum a block in the back. It was probably a blindside hit.
It's dangerous.
It was dangerous. And I understand. And because the referees in games like this get allergic to throwing flags against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. 0 penalties in that game, by the way.
The
only team
penalties
that week with 0 penalties.
Yeah. The first time since 2020, first time in the last 2 seasons that ever happened.
And by the way, we're not just complaining about officiating. There was a peer review study done at the University of Texas, El Paso, on the Kansas City Chiefs receiving favorable calls in both playoff and nationally televised games. And they came to the following conclusion. In a data set spanning more than 13,000 penalty calls from 2015 through 2023, researchers found that postseason officiating has disproportionately favored the Mahomes-era Kansas City Chiefs, coinciding with their rise as one of the NFL's most marketable franchises. In playoff games, penalties against Kansas City opponents were 2.36 more yards than average. Flags were also 23% more likely to result in a first down in favor of the Chiefs. The study adds that subjective calls such as roughing the passer and pass interference occurred 28% more frequently. That's a peer-reviewed study. So that's not just us complaining about calls that the Kansas City Chiefs get. That's a systemic problem.
And again, the Lions played their role in the loss.
Correct.
They contributed more than their fair share. Like, don't get it twisted. But this Chiefs thing has been happening for a while.
It's a real thing. But I'm going to move on to the Lions because we did do our part. Again, The secondary and linebackers covering grass in zone looks. I can't tell you how many times Chiefs receivers caught the ball with Lions defenders standing 5 yards to the right or 5 yards to the left or both.
Everybody not named Anzalone.
If you gonna play zone, you got to match up. You can't just stand there and stare at the quarterback and defend grass. And that's for Kelvin Shepard and whoever else is listening.
Well,
the pass rush was virtually non-existent. Didn't get after anybody. I mean, did DJ Reader and Kylie Williams play?
What a first-time starter.
Yeah, right, at left tackle. I mean, here's a suggestion for John Morton. Don't throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage when you down two scores. And please don't do it twice in a row. How about that? How about throw the ball down the field when you're trying to actually get back in the game?
We love you, John, but it was a bad night for you, dog.
And I already said this, but I'll reiterate it. When the other team's defense is on the field for 10 minutes, don't get cute on 4th and 1. Just turn around and hand the ball off. They were already tired. They was gassed. We would have pushed them right into the end zone. Just turn around and hand the ball off, or let Jared Goff sneak it from the 1 yard line. And let's say we do get stopped right there. Give Kansas City 99 yards to go with a struggling running game.
Stop, please. What is the number that Sonic and Tails have in terms of combined touchdowns for duos? Like, cut it out. Like,
right.
The probability of
that happening. Yeah, it wasn't happening. So, you know, of course, we didn't lose that game because of bad officiating, but nothing.
The bad officiating was on display.
Of course, yeah, and I mean, since 2019. A team playing a game and not being and having 0 accepted penalties has happened 12 times. The problem is that 3 of those times have been the Kansas City Chiefs. 25% of the time it's been the Chiefs.
A quote.
And that very rare occurrence. There's obviously a problem. And the reason why nobody will talk about the mitigating circumstances around the Brian Branch situation is because it will force you to talk about the fact that the officials weren't throwing flags and he was responding to a cheap shot. That's what he said. I'm reading USA Today and they talking about a handshake and somebody didn't want to shake somebody's hand. Brian Branch said from his mouth, I got cheap shotted during a play and the refs didn't do nothing about it.
And also followed up by saying it's no excuse for him doing what he did and he has to do better.
I'm not excusing Brian Branch.
Right.
I'm talking about the mitigating circumstances around why he did what he did.
Right. When
the officiating is that porous during the game, things like this can happen.
Absolutely.
This is a unforeseen consequence.
It happens in every sport. Bad officiating when it's the youth, it develops poor habits.
Correct.
And poor gameplay. And when it gets to the pros, people get hurt, tempers flare, and people get fined and
this
suspended.
Is the problem. If they would have just made the appropriate call right there, likely there would have been no problem post-game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that that's 100% to a certainty, but likely there would have been no problem. But because he felt like there was no justice on the field, he was going to exact some justice after the game. Again, that was immature, it was childish, and it was the wrong decision. He's a professional. He's making millions of dollars a year. He obviously did something foolish, and now it's going to cost him and his team. Yeah. I'm not excusing Brian Branch. Brian Branch got to be smarter than that. He is smarter than that. He knows he did something foolish. He knew it right after he did it. Yeah. But I bet you Juju Smith-Schuster will think twice before he cheap shot somebody else. Now let's talk about Monday night. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are coming in.
Ain't no half-stepping.
They playing very well. Now, they got a lot of injuries at the receiving position.
I was just about to say, is if there's one team we probably want to face right now, it's probably them, even though they're playing well.
We just picked up Kendall Fuller, I think, signed him for some secondary help.
Yep.
And, you know, and then, you know what, let me briefly address some of Dan Campbell's comments before the game, too. Because he said some stuff I didn't really care for before the game as well. And I love Dan Campbell. But saying that we need to go out there and score 30 Turns out he was right. But I didn't love that. And also in his interview with Tony Dungy saying that, we kind of built the play man to man. And then we went out there and ran that weak zone and had receivers running, just wide open. And I did, listen, I appreciate that, we have a program with the Lions. I love it. I do. And it's a great program with Dan Campbell. But some of those comments, I'm like, first of all, the whole we need to go out here and score 30 thing, don't poke the bear, bro. You're going into a hostile environment, man. Just so we're going to go out there and play our game. We're going to do what we need to do to win.
But it's the kneecap guy.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't really care for that comment. But let's preview the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because I don't want to belabor the conversation. They banged up in the wide receiver spot. They got Tez Johnson and some other kid named Johnson I never heard of, and they got a lot of backup receivers out there running around. But
Tez looked like he had a little breakout game last week.
He did. It was funny. Did you hear what he said about the MVP chance?
Oh, when he said he thought it was for him.
Yeah, he's like, bro, they talking about Baker.
But I guess that's like the confidence a wide receiver has to have in
right.
the NFL.
The delusion, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? God bless Tez Johnson.
I anticipate a shootout.
Yeah.
Because number one, Tampa's been in a number of shootouts this year as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be, now we're the desperate team. Yeah. I think, and Tampa's riding very high. They coming in number one on a lot of power rankings. I didn't really care for that. The Lions was number one on everybody's power rankings. I never am comfortable when I see that.
Yeah, that's usually the kiss of death.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, I'm nervous about this one. But I expect a shootout. I expect us to play well. I expect us to win a high-scoring game coming back off a loss. Dan Campbell is very good coming off a loss. I just believe that, this will be a good week for us. An extra day of preparation, that'll help. But what say you, man?
I share a lot of the same sentiments. I think we'll be fine. The one thing I have my eye on, I would say, will probably be for the second week in a row. We're going up against an elite defensive mind.
Yes.
Where, last week it was Spags. This week we got Todd Bowles.
Yep.
And, Todd knows, if Todd don't know nothing else on the football field, he knows how to scheme a defense.
Yes, he does. And they stopped the run, by the way.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see, this week with the slight sputtering that we had on offense last week, how crisp we'll be against a Todd Bowles defense. So
absolutely,
that's the one glaring thing to me outside of the obvious nuanced stuff.
Absolutely. So meet us back here next Wednesday, man. We'll be here to break that game down. Give you all the highs and the lows. Hopefully more highs than lows, man.